Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me today in today's InvArch weekly community call. I do apologize for the late start, sort of. I had to just make sure that I had everything set up in terms of recording the community call and that audio was working. So that was why I had to delay it for a few minutes. But thank you for coming out, all of you here. As usual, I'll start off with a bit about myself, how my week has been, and then we can transition into all of you and asking, how is your week? So, been a pretty busy week at InvArch. Still, heads down, working, building, especially with the InvArch development team, as you may know, with Gabe and with Pedro, and currently working to really ship out, IP staking, Tinker staking on Tinkernet, the DAO CDK as well, getting work on that done, and then GitArch as well, and then our private beta, the usual stuff. I would say happy Thanksgiving to all of my American InvArch community members here. I'm not American. I'm in Canada. We had ours like a month ago. It was Thanksgiving then, but Thanksgiving to all of you. I truly do, regardless whether it's Thanksgiving or not. Thank you to all of you. Thank you, the InvArch community, for continuing to support the project, for being here, for more of the significant and more notable individuals as well that put in that extra effort. But regardless, for all of you showing up in each community call, supporting each initiative, each campaign, and whatnot, and diving into the knowledge base, diving into the Edge series, supporting us on social media, expanding our reach, and telling people about InvArch. Truly, the team cannot thank you enough for all of your hard work overall. And honestly, we wouldn't be here without all of you. So thank you. And that's what I have to say for that. Does anybody want to share anything that they'd like in this call today?
I guess I'll share some. I try to wait. I have an AMA with Oak Network in an hour and a half. So join us on Swanky.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Swanky. Yes. So that's what I got.
By the way, Dustin, you're doing a fabulous job with the content creation for Astar for Swanky. Um,
Mm.
it's amazing. Like, to me personally, I mean, I've followed Astar just from a healthy distance, not too close, but since I joined the Polkadot ecosystem, which was a year ago. But I mean, from a marketing and promotional and content creation standpoint, definitely it's been super charged up ever since you joined. Not that it wasn't, but I mean, you bring a very unique, powerful, very community centric and creative skill set altogether, like to the table, and that shows through the content that you've been creating for Astar recently. So, job well done.
Oh. Oh, yeah. I've been running all the ads or all the tweets for the last month or so. I mean, there's some tweets that slip out and I'm like, hey, man, you're cutting into my time slots here. Um, but yeah, I don't know if you do that, but like I program like 2 days worth of tweets at a time. And then I leave like the daytime, for people to like program new tweets. But yeah, Swinkies. Swinky's 100% me, like 100%, like tweet storms, everything, threads, all that, all the information's me. I'm doing all the research, so yeah,
Heck yeah.
appreciate
Power
it.
to
Thank
you,
you.
man. Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, I definitely see that, from what was done and executed through Darwinia AMAs, and even the verses before that you've been doing, which I do miss. That was an awesome time. But I mean, it's definitely like leveled up, and certainly there has been so much enhancement to your game ever since joining Astar. So yeah, I mean, again, job well done. So in terms of Sama and what's been going on, I like to just highlight a few things, major things that has either happened or caught my eye, something that I think would interest all of you into looking into as well. I will be providing links in the chat. Just let me get my mouse here. Okay, so first off, Sea Saints Alpha Shots. I enjoy Sea Saints Alpha Shots all day, every day, but a particular one would be the Passing of Governance version 2, OpenGov launched on Kusama. That's definitely something that all of you should look into. I'll just share that right here. The video is concise despite your level of understanding when it comes to Polkadot and governance and the tech. I don't think you'd have a hard time understanding it. Plus, like, it's very important, right? Like, governance is actually interesting. And it's very significant to the ecosystem, to the community, how things basically operate in the ecosystem. So definitely something that you want to check out. Next, Follow Network was introduced by Intel. And if you don't know Intel, so I'm a huge MacBook fan or Apple fan. So before the M1 chip, Intel did make the chips for MacBooks for years and years. But they were introduced by Intel as an SGX blockchain use case. So SGX is Intel Software Guard Extensions, labeled or promoted as new trusted computing technologies. And I'll leave it at that. I'm not too much of an expert when it comes to Intel, nor Fala, like as far as just general knowledge goes with computation and their fat contracts. I mean, it goes without saying that being recognized by a major tech conglomerate like Intel is an awesome feat. So definitely want to look that up as well. And last but not least, Web3 Foundation's Joe Petrosky. If all of you remember, he was on, I believe, episode 2 of our Tinker Talks, and he shared his vision on Statement. I've heard Statement, but I don't think it's pronounced that way. But vision on Statement and the year to come. So to make Statement more powerful for everyone. So main features include support for parachain native assets and bridged assets, more advanced NFT support, a DEX, so a decentralized exchange on Statement, and more advanced asset locking / reserving functionality. So if you ask me, the most interesting main feature would be Statement having a DEX. And as Joe puts it in his forum post, it would serve a path from DOT to any parachain native token. So if you'd like to go into the fine details, very shortly in a few seconds, I'll share a link to his forum post in the chat as well. And that's all I have in terms of just eye-popping news or events for Sama related community stuff. Going into crypto and Web3, I personally like this part. So on Monday, JP Morgan, which is a major bank in the United States, registered its crypto wallet trademark. And I'll share a link to an article that goes into that as well. But what does this mean exactly? So JP Morgan is focusing on crypto payment services, or offering these services, including crypto payment processing, virtual checking accounts, other financial services. Going into it further, it looks like they will be providing more services such as cryptocurrency payment processing services, which include processing payments through credit cards and cash cards, processing cross-border payments by handling foreign exchange settlements in different currencies across borders, and even services that involve the creation and management of virtual checking accounts. And this is all despite of JP Morgan's CEO, Jamie Dimon, or Demon. I apologize if I butchered that name. But he's historically been outspoken on being antagonistic or against towards crypto. The bank as a whole, though, continues to explore cryptocurrency. So, and on Tuesday, which I think was leading headline. So Rockstar Games, if you don't know, is famous for creating the video game Grand Theft Auto, has decided to ban the use of NFTs and cryptocurrencies in third-party servers. And I'll share a link to that as well so you can look into it. So the backstory is some third-party servers have incorporated NFTs and crypto tokens as an approach to giving players ownership over unique assets in the world of Grand Theft Auto. including providing exclusive benefits and more, such as special cars and video game weapons and whatnot as NFT assets. Even famous rapper, if you're into rap music, Lil Durk, launched his own server along with his team that contains NFTs. And they also, Lil Durk and his team had to comply with Take-Two Interactive's, which is the company over Rockstar Games, but with their legal request to take down their server. So for those that don't know, My Metaverse, a company, runs a server with NFTs that is powered by fellow Polkadot project Engine, which is really cool. I didn't know that. But so far, there has not been a response or comment from either My Metaverse or Engine. On the flip side, it's known that Rockstar Games are for NFT technology, as they acquired Zynga, a mobile game studio. Some of you may not have noticed when you download a mobile video game, like a lot of them is produced or made by Zynga, earlier this year to explore quote unquote Web3 opportunities. So on Wednesday, Bank of Japan is actually looking to test a virtual yen. So that speaks to even last week's mentioned topic of CBDCs. And I'll share a link right here as well. So an article by, and I apologize if I mispronounce this, but by Nikkei, which is a Japanese national media outlet, briefly highlights that the Bank of Japan has started working with 3 large financial institutions and finance companies to start a CBDC distribution trial. So the virtual yen will be first issued in summer 2023, so that's next year. Bank of Japan is determined to collaborate with critical financial institutions to address any issues in accordance with consumer cash transactions. This trial would analyze Japan's potential CBDC's unencrypted capability. And so with Thursday, which I believe is all the rage right now, but Consensus updated its privacy policy where MetaMask will collect users' IP addresses. So they announced to MetaMask's like over 20 million users on a new update to its privacy policy yesterday, or the day before actually, November 23rd, stating, when you use Infura as your default RPC provider in MetaMask, Infura will collect your IP address and your Ethereum wallet address when you send a transaction. However, if you're using your own Ethereum node or a third-party RPC provider with MetaMask, then neither Infura nor MetaMask will collect your IP address or Ethereum wallet address. The updated privacy policy also entails other information that it collects related to the CodeFi sites and services, which includes identity and contact information, financial and transaction data, and KYC information where applicable. It also automatically logs data such as IP addresses, devices, browsers, and operating system types. Acquired by Consensus in October of 2019, Infura, if you don't know, is a tooling suite for creating applications that connect to the Ethereum network. Consensus is the company behind Infura and MetaMask, the world's most popular Ethereum wallet. And aside from already sharing that link to an article, which by the way, like you can Google all of these things that I mentioned so far, and you can find like numerous articles on each of these events that have happened throughout the week. But I want to highlight, and the man himself is actually in this call right now, but I want to highlight Dustin's Twitter thread on why you should stop using MetaMask and opt for a better option. I think it's a fantastic Twitter thread, especially just from that personal account level. I think it speaks to the community. And for those that are newcomers in the community and are just getting started in crypto, getting started in acquiring assets on the blockchain, NFTs, stuff like that, Dustin is a awesome community member, like overall, like not just for InvArch, but for the entire Dotsama community. I don't think I've praised him a lot so far, but like he has a great Twitter thread on it. I recommend that you check it out. And it really just breaks down, why MetaMask is not a ideal option for having a wallet. And I mean, of course, we have much better options, even in our own ecosystem for any Polkadot or Kusama assets. So definitely check that out. It's in the chat box right there for you. Moving on to InvArch. So time for a talk, for an update. So just going through what's happened so far. With subwallets.insights, .insights, quoting them, is introducing the first comprehensive and interactive Polkadot and Kusama ecosystem map made by the subwallet team with support from Parity Tech. Personally speaking, I think it is truly like an awesome ecosystem map. I think it serves a need for, again, like newcomers coming into the ecosystem as one of the first steps to take when going into like analysis when it comes to looking at the different projects in the ecosystem. Voting is super simple, and that's actually explained in a tweet thread that was put out by the InvArch Network Twitter account, of which I will share here. But one second. But yeah, so essentially, there is a campaign going on by .insights, which is called Most Loved Projects. And you can actually vote from November 18th to the 30th. So within 5 days, it'll end. But you can actually vote for your favorite project. Not forcing anyone, but you know, if you love InvArch, if you love InvArch Tinkernet, if you love Udl DAO, definitely please show your support. Vote on .insights for us. So the next update would be Dakota on the Riri show. So if you don't know who Riri is, she is the community manager at Moonsama. And if I'm wrong, forgive me, but I believe also just looking at her Twitter bio immediately for ExoSama, PawnSama, RareSama communities. And she's also in Women in Crypto. She's absolutely a fantastic person. She's definitely, like, in my eyes, a leader in the crypto and .sama space. Obviously, a leading female figure, I might add, which I believe we need more queens in the ecosystem for sure. And she has a great track record of interviews, of interactions, especially with her segment, The Riri Show. So I'm super glad to have secured the opportunity of obtaining an interview slot on Dakota's behalf with Riri. As you can tell by her tweet, which I will share momentarily, but it's this upcoming Monday when the episode drops. There is definitely a lot that Dakota has unpacked in that episode from as far as I've heard. I'm looking forward to it. I think all of you should look forward to it as well. And it's an awesome opportunity. I think the immediate InvArch community will be ecstatic to hear it. So next on the update, if you haven't heard, the InvArch papers. With the InvArch papers, and I'll just share this link in a sec, one of the first of 4 InvArch papers was released, and it's called the InV4 protocol, the core of the creator economy. If you don't know what the InV protocol is, it's actually it's the first protocol to be produced, to be created, and it's one of the main 3. So there's the InV4 protocol, there is the OSIF protocol, and there's also the XEA protocol. The InV4 protocol is what powers the foundation of the creator economy and the InvArch network, which essentially it produces the stem cells for defining and organizing NFT-based structures for IP and decentralized organizations. It's designed to be utilized by additional protocols, focusing on acting as an interoperable technical Lego set for cross-chain dApp development. InV4 assets are designed to act akin to general purpose and programmable building blocks for structuring tokenized IP and decentralized organizations as on-chain primitives. Additionally, InV4 assets can feature trustless and customizable rule sets that define and enforce immutable licensing terms, governance rights, treasury models, and royalty agreements. I definitely do recommend that you dive into this article, but maybe before you dive in, I also recommend that you start off with Uno Momento, the InvArch Edu series, which is more of a easier, I would call it, like, gateway into understanding the InvArch network, understanding how it started, why is it being built, why is it being created, and it does go through the InV4 protocol as well as the OSIF protocol as well, and how IP is involved in everything, and how we're building the tech and the infrastructure for the creator economy. So that's an awesome read there, and definitely recommend to check that out. If you haven't heard, so Gabe, our co-founder and head of development, was accepted as one of the first 45 members of the Polkadot Fellowship. Congrats, Gabe. And it's an awesome, awesome achievement. And it's a great, great opportunity to have not just Gabe, but even the leading other fellows in the first 45 that was accepted, where they are coming together to essentially improve the Polkadot network. That's just an amazing, amazing achievement. And I can't applaud Gabe enough for that. Last but not least, which I like to personally highlight, but Richie, who is also in this call, a wonderful, wonderful, fantastic InvArch community member, is back with another fantastic video covering the latest with the project. For quite some time, he's been creating, producing, and publishing these YouTube videos on Dotsama, on InvArch, and his content creation is awesome. Like, his skills are awesome. He has a great personality. I think that, you know, with his character and his voice, like, definitely captures you when you just hit that play button and watch any of his videos. I'd like to just honor and applaud him. He's definitely like one of those really engaging community members that really strives to get people to understand the project, to understand the tech. Not only that, he makes content for that purpose. And it shows that he believes in Web3, he believes in Dotsama, and he believes in InvArch. So thank you, Richie. But other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you, AJ.
Oh, you're very welcome. But other than that, that's all I have to say for now. Like I said, with IP staking coming along, tests are still being run, and with that audit being done as well, just to make sure that everything is fine and well on that end. Forgive me, but I'm not on the tech team. I'm not a tech person, so I can't give a technical update on that. With GetArch and with the private beta, as well as the Utils Mint, that is coming very soon. We promise you that will be delivered for sure. So does anybody want to talk about anything? Maybe briefly go over some of the news that I shared, things that you maybe haven't heard that I probably covered. The floor is yours.
Yeah, if I could just quickly pick Dustin's brain a second.
For sure.
Dustin, thank you. Yeah, I saw your post, I think it was yesterday or the day before, about MetaMask. Personally, I'm using MetaMask. I do have other wallets as well, but I'd love to know which do you think are good, because I like MetaMask because it's it's a Web3 wallet. At the same time, it's quite diverse. Like, it hosts a lot of different networks. And which could you recommend that are competing?
I just hands down, I would say Talisman. Like, if you're using web-based, Talisman is probably the best. The one thing is you can't manually add RPC endpoints, but you can add the network. So if you have a ability to add a network that's like automatically adds to, if you click, connect, it says, hey, connect, which is usually how it works. It'll just send you to that certain network. Then you should be fine. It's literally everything you can do in Polkadot.js. Well, maybe there might be some functionality in JS that I've seen, I guess, but that's only with like DIDs, which no one really messes with right now. But yeah, you pretty much do everything with Talisman Wallet. Yeah, I've seen it sign XVM transactions too, so that's a cross-chain substrate to back and forth to EVM. So I would say Talisman overall, and they're building light clients built into it. So basically,
Cool.
you'll be completely decentralized. And this is not, I don't work for Talisman or anything. It's just based on like what I've seen with my team and what I've seen with others just using it in personal usage too. Talisman's the only one that I've seen that's really geared towards complete decentralization and in like full on like hands off, where consensus is like we're tracking your every move. And the thing is, I've used MetaMask forever. I've used MetaMask for 4 years. I still have some, like I still have some remnants of MetaMask that I need to figure out, So I'm like, it's a personal reason why I said that, because it was just like I don't want this to be something negatively affecting somebody that's like in a third world country or someone that doesn't have access to a lot of finances. and they are being tracked. And when they don't have much to even lose, but what they have is very valuable. So putting them on a certain pedestal and a certain level of understanding before they even start is what's most important. Is that we have
Mhm.
not set we haven't set the standards yet. We're building standards, but
Yeah.
people don't want to use them yet because they're accustomed to MetaMask, and I totally get it. Like I've been accustomed to MetaMask. All my networks, all my wallets, I have to go back and put in all my keys and my phrases. It's cumbersome in that sense, but like the grand scheme of it is that you are protected. Like you have the choice to be like, oh yeah, maybe this information gets sent out or whatever. Like that's the choice we should have is, okay, maybe I need to identify myself, some signer. The talisman has signers, and Monta has signers, but like these signers, yeah, you have to give up maybe some of them, but you have to give up some information, but you shouldn't have to give up all your information to do a transaction or just like a simple sign. uh, yeah, so MetaMask it's in the direction of who pretty much has the biggest power, and like JP Morgan and all these conglomerates, they want to get in the space, but they want to track it down in a way that it's already set to their standards. So we if they get in the space, we have to accompany them. Why should we make them feel comfortable for a space that they've over monopolized for us? Like, doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, it makes sense for them
Absolutely.
because
Mhm.
you know they're the ones to monopolize everything, and we're supposed to abide by their rules because they're the ones that are up there. So that's what I love about like Talisman or even Nova or any, like these other wallets. Is like, I don't know Nova too well to say that they're fully decentralized. I know they're working
Mhm.
pretty hard. We know Limo and everybody. So I mean, I'm sure that's what they're gearing towards. I just know Talisman with like Birdo has spoken very highly, and especially in Gabe as well. Saying about like clients. So it's just like that's the one I could recommend the most. And then Encrypt, I've spoken to the Encrypt team. I've talked to Vince. I've talked to the previous Akala team that's been working on Encrypt before it came out. And they, it's sponsored. It's I don't know if it's sponsored by Parity, but it's highlighted by Parity. Parity has been very vocal about Encrypt, so it's another good option as well. But um,
I've looked into Nova Wallet. I like it. It's very user friendly, especially the mobile phone version. I haven't seen the desktop version, but the mobile phone version is very user friendly. I like it. I just don't know if it's as all encompassing. I mean, it's still young, it's early days yet. Let's see what happens. But thank you, because Talisman, now you're the third or fourth person who's come up with Talisman this week. Definitely, I need to look into that more.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah, Talisman just it's a community driven project. It just has that sense of like, because I've had conversations with Berto asking me, hey, what can we do to like make it better? Because I'm big in the NFTs and the EVM space before, so it's like it was nice to be able to get like a personal touch. Like, hey, maybe this is things that we are not seeing that you might be interested in and having some type of utility in the Talisman wallet. So like from a like consumer standpoint, not even or a community member, like it's nice to see that they care about like the future of what we want to use, not what they want to use. And that's the different approach. Is a community driven project is built for all of us, instead of MetaMask is like, oh, let's connect to Infura. It's like Infura is like basically the government, and then they're like, yeah, let's just here, and everyone's okay with it because it's somewhat seamless. It's always available. It's like, yeah, well, what's the requirements for availability? There's you're taking off like the decentralization. We can all have AWS and like cloud services for all of this and have faster transactions, or have our whole network go down like Solana. Um, like what do we do? So we stick to like, if it's slow but it's decentralized, or it's like, okay, we need to make sure all these aspects are from the beginning, like decentralized, instead of just being like, oh, this is, maybe we can cut a little corner here just because it's faster, or like, oh, it's just easier because the government can access it and scan your information, or we can sell this information to other conglomerates and make a little bit of cash or whatever. It's like, no, like it's the whole point of the whole decentralized space is to be completely like empowerment. Like, we're supposed to be empowered. That's the whole point. Like, sovereign ability to make those decisions and be like, yeah, I want to be on FTX, but I'm not like, who knows me before FTX. It's up to me to be like, oh, now I talk to FTX, and it's like, well, I didn't talk to them before. Now you don't know me, but now you do, because I've been making some small interactions with a DApp or something, or I went on OpenSea and signed on real quick. It's like, yeah, this stuff is like all these little innuendos and all these underlying like aspects of like the decentralized space is like, that's the EVM side of things. That's unfortunate. It's like the EVM part is like, that's why the world is going to EVM in that sense, is because they can control it. Like, you can censor certain RPC nodes and endpoints to censor blocks, transactions, blocks, whatever, just because you're from a certain geographical location. Geofencing. I've been thinking about this all week, about geofencing and about geographical location. It doesn't matter if you're Russia, North Korea. Like, everybody should have the same, regardless. Like, it sucks. Like, yeah, North Korea can hack people and take all their money from state sponsored hacker teams, but we should also have the same playing field. Good or bad. Like, yeah, we could do certain things to be like advocating for the space, or like anti-scamming kind of like scenarios, and educate, but should we all have the same playing field as somebody in a state sponsored hacker team? I think so. I mean, I think it should be the same, but I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you for that, Dustin. Really appreciate it. I feel like every time you speak, I learn something new. So, um, yeah, it's always appreciated. But from that, I mean, I would like to add as well, with MetaMask, with all the news about them collecting your IP addresses. Apparently, it's not a new thing. You can even look it up on Google or any other search engine that you use. There was an issue that was submitted in 2018 on a GitHub by Project Oblio. They stated that MetaMask is broadcasting user ETH addresses to third parties. Meaning that your browsing behavior can be tracked through the ETH address that you use in MetaMask, and this was reported in 2018. So it's been happening for the past 4 years at least, from the time that article was released, where they even said like there's concerns that platforms like Amazon and Google and PayPal can potentially link your blockchain transactions to your credit card payments and your identity. So there is also a risk exposing unintentionally the lost person that you transacted with. And I mean, yeah, like this goes like what Dustin had said. This totally goes against everything that that decentralization and transparency and like the principles of Web3 is about. We don't want our data tracked. With that, I would also like to just pose a caution to our community members out here. Be vigilant when you're going through, and even like tell your family and friends, like those that are getting into crypto. If you know anyone in real life that's just starting in crypto, be aware of like fake sites and fake browser extensions that actually targets users or interested users of Ledger, Trezor, MEW, and MetaMask as well. Essentially, when you search up Trezor Wallet, for example, or MetaMask Wallet, for example, you'll see search results come up, and there are like really scammy entities, I would call them, running big campaigns to push like fake browser extensions, doing that through the use of Google Ads and SEO and other channels. It's really not a new thing that's been going on, but it's definitely something that you want to look out for your own safety and for the safety of your personal information and for your loved ones' safety and personal information as well. What's like happening is like users that don't know, they would download these fake extensions, and these extensions will phish, like phishing. So for secrets, for your mnemonic phrases, for your private keys, for your key store files, and once you enter them into the extension, then it sends what's called a HTTP post request to its backend, where essentially the bad actors will be able to obtain the secrets easily and then therefore empty your account. So what you think, let's say Bob falls for this fake browser extension and uses what he thinks is the actual wallet of Trezor or MetaMask, it isn't. And that's how like these hacks happen, or one of the ways that these hacks happen. So all in all, I mean, please stay vigilant, keep safe in terms of your digital assets, and always like implement good practices and reach out. I say again, like I'm not a tech person, but I do know a thing or two when it comes to safety and security, with cryptocurrency, with NFTs and stuff like that. And a great resource, obviously, or if not that obvious, is Twitter. So like you could even use Twitter's search bar and look up ways how to protect yourself, so like crypto safety or something, like certain keywords, and you'll definitely find like a lot of information, a lot of threads where people will go into it and explain how to stay safe on the blockchain essentially. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. If anyone else doesn't have anything to share, I will call this the end of today's InvArch weekly community call. Once again, I really do appreciate you, all of you, for coming out today. We have a consistent participating number of community members, so that is a really good sign, a really good indicator that these community calls are a thing that all of you do want to see and to expect to keep going. So thank you, Richie. Thank you, Dustin. Of course. Oh, hey, Funky. How are you? Hope you're doing well. I didn't know that you joined, but welcome. Sorry, we are ending the call, but I appreciate you being here. Thank you, S. Jimmy, Ulissa, DJ Board, and everyone else in the call. I really do appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Enjoy your weekend. If you have any more, for the Americans, if you have any more Thanksgiving festivities going on, I mean, definitely enjoy it. Again, I'm thankful for all of you being here and for supporting the project. I'll see you next week in the InvArch weekly community call. Thank you.
Hey, Jay. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.
See you later.